Ever walked into work and felt like you're navigating something invisible? Like you're hitting walls you can't quite see, or maybe you even start questioning if you're just imagining things?
Hmm.
It's that, slightly off balance feeling, but it's frustratingly hard to pinpoint why.
It's a feeling a lot of people share, I think.
Yeah.
And let me be clear. Based on this material, you're absolutely not imagining things.
Exactly. So this deep dive is all about those experiences in the workplace. The ones that are often subtle can be incredibly frustrating, and yeah, they disproportionately affect women.
Right.
And more importantly, we're going to dig into the material you sent us and really explore what it says can actually be done about them.
Yeah, we're basically treating this material as a kind of office survival manual. It's packed with anecdotes, it draws on research, and it lays out a whole range of really practical strategies.
Okay, so our mission today is to unpack the nature of this subtle sexism, look at some really specific examples and workplace challenges it highlights, and then dive into the tactics.
The fight moves and hacks, as the material calls them.
Exactly, the ones presented to help navigate these situations.
All right, let's get started. Maybe by setting the stage a bit. The material frames this whole discussion within the current workplace climate.
Right. It points to some big recent pushes for change, doesn't it? Mentions things like the Women's March, involving millions.
Yeah, and actions by figures like Judge Ann Donnelly or Sally Yates.
Mm.
It's highlighting this broader context of maybe increased awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And within that context, the material introduces this core concept it calls subtle sexism.
Okay.
And it defines it as precisely that kind of sexism that leaves you asking yourself, am I actually just crazy?
Right.
And the emphatic message from the source is, no, you are not.
Which leads straight to that powerful phrase they use, death by a thousand cuts.
Hmm.
It describes subtle sexism because, if you look at them individually, these moments might seem small, maybe easy to just brush off.
Yeah, dismissible.
But when they happen again and again, day after day, over time, the collective impact is, well, the material says it's incredibly damaging.
Yeah, and what I think is so effective is how the material illustrates these challenges.
Yeah.
They aren't just abstract ideas, they're grounded in really specific, like relatable workplace scenarios.
Like being treated as the office admin or secretary, even when that is absolutely not your job description.
Oh, yeah. This section shares an anecdote about a project manager, Nola. She's leading this high-level client meeting, totally in charge.
Okay.
And a male colleague asks her, just point blank, if she'd mind grabbing some coffee for the group.
Ugh. You can almost feel her reaction, right? The material even includes this visualization, an image of coffee cups with "fuck you very much" written above them.
Yes. And this is where they introduce the term stenographer.
Snegrafucker. Okay.
Someone who treats you like the office secretary, basically, regardless of your actual role or seniority.
Right.
And the examples range from being asked to take notes when it's not your job, getting unnecessarily CC'd on travel plans, or, yeah, being told to grab coffee sometimes, even for your own client, like in Nola's story.
Wow. And there are other really vivid examples in there, too. Melody Hobson, chair of DreamWorks Animation, being mistaken for kitchen help.
Right. At an event.
Or a friend of the author, Alia, mistaken for the coat check person
Yeah.
at an event where she was actually being honored. It's just this assumption, isn't it, that a woman in that space must be in a service role.
It really is. And the material adds some historical context here, which I found fascinating. It tells the story of a New York vocational school head way back who advised women not to learn shorthand.
Why?
Because if you were a bright girl stenographer, you just get stuck by your boss's side forever. It's the root of this idea they call the perm assistant.
Perm assistant, like permanent assistant.
Exactly. Becoming so good at a supporting role you don't actually want that you can't escape it.
That Newsweek researcher example is also pretty chilling.
Oh, yeah.
Women researchers explicitly told women don't write, called dollies by their bosses, and assigned duties like pushing mail carts and delivering coffee alongside their actual research work. There's a quote from one Susan Brownmiller saying that after a while, you really did start to lose confidence and internalize that, writing is what the men do.
It's awful. So beyond being kind of pigeonholed into these admin tasks, another major area the material explores is around communication.
Ah, yes.
And how women are perceived when they speak or express themselves.
This is where the manterrupter comes in, right?
That's the one. The pattern of men speaking more and frequently interrupting women in meetings. The material cites research showing women are twice as likely to be interrupted.
Twice as likely. Wow.
By both men and women, actually. And it increases even more for women of color. Yeah, they even use this visual as interruption pie chart, showing the time spoken by men, women, and a police siren.
A police siren.
Yeah, implying how jarring and frequent the interruptions can feel. And the impact is significant. Constant interruptions can make women hesitate, clam up.
Lose confidence.
Exactly. Lose confidence and ultimately lose credit for their ideas.
And it's not just being interrupted, it's also how you speak or show emotion that gets judged differently.
Spot on. There's the story of Rachel, a web developer. Her male boss told her she was too aggressive with her staff.
But was her work good?
Performance wasn't the issue. The material interprets too aggressive as code, code for too loud, bossy, or just not ladylike. It was about her perceived style.
Right. Which links to the next enemy they identify.
The menstruator. Someone who immediately jumps to assuming a woman's directness or strong emotion is just because she's hormonal or, it's that time of the month.
Ugh, that old chestnut.
Totally. The material brings up the Donald Trump, Megyn Kelly comment, and even historical stuff like NASA arguing against women astronauts because of menstruation concerns.
Seriously?
Yep. And it's that infuriating experience, right? You express legitimate displeasure about work, and someone asks you later with that fake concern, "Are you okay? You seemed really upset."
Oh, I hate that. There's such a clear double standard highlighted here.
Absolutely. Men show strong emotion, it's passion. Women do it, it's hormonal or crazy.
And there's research cited that backs this up.
Yeah. It notes that expressing sort of muted emotions, like saying, "I feel concerned about X," can work. But openly crying or yelling, heavily penalized for women in the workplace.
Okay, so crying at work, that's a specific topic they tackle.
They do, probably because it's such a common fear or, actual experience for many. The material contrasts how men crying has sometimes been viewed historically strong, noble even.
Right.
Versus women's tears, often dismissed as manipulative or just weakness. It talks about this near impossible bullseye of socially acceptable female crying.
The Hillary Clinton example.
Exactly, from the 2008 primaries. Tearing up briefly in New Hampshire.
And the criteria for acceptable crying mentioned are almost funny. They're so strict, like crying but not sobbing.
Tier 2.
Preferably personal, not about work.
Grief.
And absolutely not in a meeting.
It's a ridiculous tightrope to expect someone to walk when they're genuinely upset.
Totally. And the material even mentions the strategies people use to avoid crying publicly, like the dash to the bathroom.
Or the stairwell. Or just blaming allergies. We've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so beyond emotions, there's also linguistic judgment, how you actually talk.
The material notes that women often lead linguistic trends, like modern emoji use, which we'll get to.
Okay.
But the workplace still tends to value a more, quote-unquote, masculine style of speech.
Yeah.
Succinct, direct.
And if women try to adapt,
they can still get negative feedback. They might adopt a direct style and then be told they sound too masculine. Or they're told to soften it, add sorry more. The Margaret Thatcher example is mentioned hiring a vocal coach to sound less shrill.
Wow, that pressure.
And the Valley Speak example also stuck with me. The author being asked if she was 13 when she was 24 because she sounded like a Valley girl.
Ouch.
It just shows how quick people are to judge based on superficial things like speech patterns. The material cautions about first impressions, but also makes a good point, distinguishing filler from using functionally for said or for example.
And then there's the outright negative labeling.
Oh yeah, the list. Words used to describe women negatively for things that might be seen differently, even positively, in men.
Like aggressive.
Controlling, crazy, difficult.
Bitchy, emotional, hysterical.
Docker, sassy, shrill. It's a long list. And it points out the origins of words like seminal, in that infantilizing language too. Kiddo, sweetie, sugar.
They reference an image called the dictionary.
Yes, illustrating this kind of unequal vocabulary.
Ugh. Okay, so moving from language and perception, another big challenge is exclusion and underestimation.
Right. This is where the frat social chair enemy appears.
The frat social chair.
Yeah, someone who organizes social events that, maybe unintentionally, maybe not, effectively exclude women or make them feel unwelcome.
Like what kind of events?
Examples given are a ski trip women were left out of, a men-only dinner with Al Gore, because women would supposedly kill the buzz.
Seriously. Al Gore.
That's what it says. Or just the classic oversight forgetting to invite the only woman on the team to dinner at a conference.
And the point isn't just missing a party, is it?
Not at all. The material stresses these events are crucial for bonding, for networking, for getting valuable FaceTime with colleagues, with leaders. Exclusion cuts you off from that. There's a reference to a problematic company event calendar image,
What's on it?
things like beer pong, while crossing out suggestions like period seminar or vegan cooking class. You get the picture.
Yeah, I get it. And the judgment based purely on appearance.
Huge point. The material brings up the hashtag I look like an engineer movement, making that vital point. Competence shouldn't be judged by looks. It contrasts this with how men like Justin Trudeau or Mark Zuckerberg aren't typically questioned on competence because of how they look.
Good point. There's an image of a scientist woman mentioned and a hack called Twirl on Them Haters we should come back to.
We will. And finally, under this section, just the kind of absurdly silly questions often asked of women versus men.
Like the Sally Ride example.
Exactly. Astronaut Sally Ride being asked if spaceflight would affect her reproductive organs, or what she wears to the gym, or if hormones would impact her ability to do her job.
Yeah.
Questions you just wouldn't ask a male astronaut.
It's mind-boggling. Okay, so we've outlined quite a few of these common challenges. Now for the really practical part. What does the material actually offer in terms of strategies, the fight moves, and hacks for navigating this stuff?
Okay, let's start with getting your ideas heard and actually getting credit for them. This directly counters that man-eruptor problem we talked about.
So what's the first tactic?
One brilliant one presented is woman-interruption.
Woman-interruption. So interrupting back.
Not just interrupting for the sake of it. It's interrupting a man-interrupter on behalf of another woman.
Ah, okay. Like how?
Saying something like, hang on, can you let her finish? Or directly turning to the woman who was cut off. Now, what's your opinion on this?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. The material points out it helps the woman who was silenced get heard, and it makes the person intervening look like a good team player. Win-win.
Clever.
What else?
Thank yank. This is for when someone takes your idea and basically presents it as their own.
Okay, happens all the time. What do?
You respond by thanking them for picking up on it, but immediately reinforce that it was your point originally.
Like, thanks for picking up on my idea.
Exactly. Or, yes, that's precisely the point I was making earlier. The material calls it sneaky but effective. It lets you reclaim your idea while still looking composed.
Okay, thank and yank. Got it. Next.
Amplify. This one involves a bit of pre-planning. You agree beforehand with a colleague, a wing woman, or even a supportive male ally.
To actively repeat each other's key points in meetings, always giving credit back to the original speaker. I really liked Sarah's point about X.
Ah, like the Obama White House woman reportedly did.
That's the exact example they use. It really helps ideas get traction and make sure credit goes where it's due.
Yeah.
Benefits both the amplifier and the person amplified.
That's really smart. Anything else for getting credit?
Yes, a simple but effective one. Email evidence.
Email evidence.
After you've put forward a good idea in a meeting, follow up. Send a summary email to the key people, maybe your boss, CCing relevant folks. It just gets your idea documented and clearly associated with you.
Good. Practical tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving beyond just getting ideas heard, the material spends a lot of time on building confidence, right? And combating that self-sabotage feeling.
Right into the imposter, that really pervasive feeling of being a fraud, being sure you're going to fail.
And believing any success you have is just because you fooled everyone.
Exactly that. They quote Sheryl Sandberg from Lean In describing that constant fear of being found out, that the jig would be up.
Yeah, it's a powerful feeling. The material mentions someone named Celeste realizing she was almost using it as a preemptive excuse.
Yeah, like, if I feel like an imposter, it's okay if I mess up, which isn't helpful.
No. So what are the hacks for this?
One suggestion is find a wing woman, specifically for imposter syndrome. Just talking to other women who feel the same way helps normalize it, makes you feel less alone.
Makes sense.
The material even suggests having a phrase ready, like saying to your trusted wing woman, okay, it's not me, it's the imposter syndrome talking.
Yeah.
Just to acknowledge it without letting it take over.
I like that, externalizing it a bit.
Exactly. Then there's squash negative self-talk.
How does that work?
It's about actively challenging that internal critic. The material suggests literally asking for evidence that you aren't qualified for something.
Okay.
And then making a counter list. Write down at least 10 things that definitively prove you're qualified. There's a great quote from Tanya Tarr in there.
What is it?
That negative voice doesn't pay your rent, so bounce that freeloading fucker out.
Haha. Love it. Okay.
Building on that, believe your own hype. This is about writing affirmations, Actively listing your successes. It's a way to remind yourself what you've achieved, especially if you're not getting that external validation.
Kind of like building your own internal cheerleading squad.
Pretty much. And verbal karate, arming yourself with facts. Like the research showing diverse teams are more profitable. It gives you data to assert your value when you need to.
Okay. The material also talks about being hesitant to speak up, right? She puts the shh in sheepish.
Yeah, that tendency some women have to be afraid to speak up or speak too quietly, fearing they'll be seen as too loud or aggressive, or even physically shrinking when pitching ideas.
Which is often a response to being interrupted or judged constantly.
Exactly. It's a reaction. And this ties into the next hack. WWJD, don't hope ask.
WWJD. Would.
Not that JD. It draws on research by Linda Babcock comparing turnips. People who see their situation as fixed versus oysters. People who see situations as adaptable.
Okay, turnips versus oysters.
The point is, you have to be an oyster. While asking for something doesn't guarantee you'll get it, not asking guarantees you won't.
Yeah.
You have to put yourself out there.
Makes sense. Don't be a turnip.
Don't be a turnip. Adam Grant's idea of failure FOMO is mentioned too. Fear of missing out on failure.
Sort of. It's the idea that people often regret not trying something way more than they regret trying and failing.
Ah, okay, so it encourages taking chances.
Right. And a reminder to don't take it personally.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Totally. But the material points out that statistically, women's confidence tends to drop more than men's after negative feedback. So, building resilience is key. Not letting criticism, especially if it feels biased, completely derail you.
Good point. And, girl, do you. This one's about forging your own path, taking initiative instead of waiting to be asked or given permission. The author shares a story about talking her way into a job she wanted after layoffs.
Being proactive.
Yeah. And interestingly, there's even a tactic called Femulate him.
Femulate him.
Learning from successful male colleagues. He uses an example, a guy called Josh, who didn't seem to care about being liked, prioritized his own benefit, and just did things instead of waiting.
So learning from different styles of navigating the system.
Yeah, finding what works for you, even if it feels a bit counter to traditional expectations.
Okay, interesting. Let's shift gears slightly.
Yeah.
Setting boundaries and preventing burnout. That's huge.
Absolutely critical. This section introduces the doormat.
The doormat. I think we all know or have been the doormat at some point.
Right. Someone afraid to say no, ends up totally overworked, feels that implicit pressure to always say yes, often because of those gendered expectations. Be communal, agreeable, helpful.
And the double standard kicks in again, doesn't it?
Big time. The material notes, a man says no is often understood, oh, he must be busy. A woman says no, she risks being penalized. Worse reviews, fewer promotions, seen as less likable.
So learning how to say no is vital.
Yes. And the material offers several how to say no strategies. Polite phrasing for different scenarios. When you're genuinely swamped, when you disagree, or when you simply don't want to do the task.
Are there specific phrases?
Yeah, things like, my plate is full right now, but maybe check back next week. Or, that's an interesting idea, but I have some concerns about X approach. Polite but firm. There are even little diagrams of mouth shapes for saying no.
Mouth shapes. Okay, what about burnout prevention hacks?
Some good ones. Cell-free zone. Setting real boundaries on checking work email and phones after hours. Shonda Rhimes' famous email signature is the inspiration.
Right, the I won't reply after 7 p.m. or on weekends.
That's the one. Then get down with OTP, overtime prevention.
Ooh, OTP, yeah.
Questioning the value of constantly putting in excessive overtime, especially for women. The material suggests it often doesn't pay off in the same way, and women might be evaluated poorly in overwork cultures, particularly if they also carry the main load at home.
That's a really important point about the second shift.
Definitely. Also, max and relax, addressing the leisure gap.
The leisure gap.
Yeah, Pew Research data shows men get about 5 more hours of leisure time per week, so prioritize downtime, actually schedule it if you have to avoid burnout.
Schedule relaxing, I like it.
And finally, ruthless prioritization. Just ruthlessly saying no to the things you feel you should do. Focus only on your absolute musts and your genuine wants.
Cut out the shoulds. Okay. The material also has specific hacks for handling difficult people or situations, right?
Yeah. The put the fucker in his place anecdote is a classic.
Remind me.
Female CEO chairing a high-level board meeting. Someone interrupts to complain they're out of Diet Coke.
Oh, my God.
And she just responds, totally deadpan, super sweetly, I'll be sure to add that to the agenda for next time. Boom. Shut down.
Perfect. What else?
The backhand assignment. When you get asked to do a task you don't want, suggest another guy for it.
They're like, oh, Brad loves spreadsheets.
Exactly. I'm slam, but Brad is excellent at spreadsheets. Maybe ask him.
Sneaky. Okay. What if someone calls you crazy?
Let's say what? Hack. Play dumb. Calmly ask them to explain what they mean. I'm not sure I follow. Can you explain what you mean by crazy? Puts the burden back on them.
Nice. And handling emotions if you are genuinely upset about work.
Diagnosis. Passion. Frame your emotion around the work or a shared goal, not just personal feelings.
So instead of, I'm upset.
Try, I'm concerned about our progress towards the quarterly goal.
Yeah.
It draws on advice from Joan C. Williams and Amanda Stenberg's idea of reframing angry as having strong opinions.
Okay. Diagnosis, passion, and that twirl on them haters, hack.
Ah, yes, linked to being judged on appearance. The hack is basically ignore it. Keep talking, keep showing your competence. Force them to listen to your words, not just look at you.
Twirl on them. Got it. What about getting people to actually do things, follow through?
The nudging hacks. Find a nag hag. Get a friend to help you nudge or keep track.
A nag hag. Okay.
Multimedia nagger. Use different methods, email, phone call, walk by their desk if one isn't working. Every day I'm nudging. Persistent, polite follow-up. And the material reassures you, you won't get fired for politely reminding someone about a deadline.
Good reassurance.
Okay,
back to the frat social chair, the exclusive events. How do you counter that?
Become a chevent planner. Actively propose different kinds of social events that are more inclusive than, say, beer pong or shooting ranges.
Like what? Book club.
Yoga. Could be anything. The point is to offer alternatives. The material notes, one company actually went ahead with a frat-themed party even while facing sexism lawsuits.
Yikes.
Yeah, so being proactive helps. And if you weren't invited to something important,
Just show up.
pretty much. The open invitation hack. Just invite yourself. The example is Sarah joining the office fantasy football league even though she wasn't initially asked.
Bold. I like it.
And finally, attendance is womandatory, meaning try to attend those work social things, even if you'd rather work late. Increasing women's presence can slowly change the dynamic, and you avoid missing out on that informal networking, like Adina in the story, who realized she was losing out by only working late.
Maybe bring a friend.
Yes. Bringing a female friend is suggested to make it feel more comfortable.
Okay, this is all great practical stuff. But a really powerful theme running through the material is collective action, right? Sisterhood.
Huge theme. The core message really is that these tactics used to be whispered woman to woman, but it's time to talk openly. The material is explicitly for women who've seen this stuff, maybe doubted themselves, feared speaking up.
And it emphasizes these aren't just individual problems.
Exactly. They're collective and intersectional. And it grounds this in history, showing the power of women organizing.
Like second wave feminism.
Yeah, consciousness-raising groups, lobbying, protests, the Ladies' Home Journal sit-in, the Ogilin, the Miss America protest with the Freedom Trash Can.
Right, throwing bras and girdles in.
Symbolic items. The Newsweek lawsuit is a key example of workplace organizing. And going further back, the suffragists. Then later movements like Riot Girl.
Girl power.
Exactly. Supporting women in male spaces. The Red Brigade tackling the menstruation taboo. Red stockings with their bitch sisters bitch motto and speakouts. It highlights that history. Kathy Sarachild coining, sisterhood is powerful.
And connecting that history to the present-day tactics.
Many of them explicitly involve other women. Woman-interruption, amplify, finding a wing woman for imposter syndrome.
Find a boast, bitch.
Yes, where women boast about each other's successes. Finding a nag hag, bringing a female friend to events, inviting more women to meetings because more women present makes it easier for any woman to speak up.
It's all about that mutual support.
And shared activities, like group vision boarding, are also mentioned.
The material even loops in dads, right?
Yeah, encouraging men to be truly engaged dads.
Yeah.
It cites studies showing benefits for daughters' aspirations, but also for the dads themselves, job happiness, patience, flexibility. It includes images like a period tracker and a dad and a baby Bjorn, linking it subtly to shared responsibility.
Okay, before we wrap up, were there any other sort of quirky or specific hacks?
A couple stood out: the law of reversibility for spotting sexism.
How does that work?
Simple. Reverse the gender of your subject, see if it sounds funny, repeat. If flipping the gender makes a comment or situation sound absurd or offensive, it's likely biased.
Useful gut check. What else?
Emoji use. Notes women often lead these trends. Discusses the threat level of emojiing your boss.
Threat level.
Yeah, suggesting mimicry can build trust, but maybe avoid the eggplant emoji. And using emojis for quick praise, like a check mark for you aced it, or fire for
Yeah.
that presentation was fire.
Okay. And anything on pregnancy at work?
Just a brief mention, an anecdote about a makeup artist friend struggling with nausea and smell sensitivity on set, acknowledging those specific challenges.
Right. Okay, so pulling all of this together, what's the big takeaway from the material?
I think it's incredibly clear. Subtle sexism is real. It's pervasive. That death by a thousand cuts metaphor is just spot on.
And it profoundly impacts how women are perceived, how they communicate, their confidence, their careers.
Definitely. And this is the crucial part, the material doesn't just diagnose the problem. It provides this huge toolkit of strategies, drawing on history, on modern tactics.
It offers practical, actionable ways to recognize these dynamics, name them, and then navigate or challenge them.
Exactly. And that idea of support, often of other women or from male allies, is presented as absolutely essential. You don't have to face it alone.
We've covered so much ground today. Wow. From fetching coffee and being interrupted, all the way to negotiation tactics and the power of sisterhood. Hopefully this deep dive into the material has given you, the listener, some clarity on those subtle dynamics you might have felt. And maybe equipped you with some practical ideas you can start exploring.
Yeah, and the material really suggests the time for quietly dealing with this is over. If recognizing the challenges is step one, and having these strategies is step two, what's that vital third step?
Right.
What does it really mean to move from just surviving these daily cuts to genuinely thriving in the workplace, both individually and, collectively? What does it take, as material asks, to become too fierce, too informed, too fast, too prepared, too strong for any system to truly limit you?